Hello, and welcome to 626, session 11, the final. So I want to go over the final today because it is a large part of your grade. So if you go to our session folder and go to learning activities, you get an overview of the final, which is the Family Focused Interview and IFSP project. So you're going to develop a project which demonstrates skills in interviewing and assessing family strengths and needs, and develop strategies for building parent-professional partnerships that can be incorporated into the Individualized Family Service Plan, or the IEP. So what you're going to do is you're going to find a family who has a special needs child, and you're going to set up a time to interview them. The first thing that you're going to need to do before the interview begins is you're going to need to get a family permission slip. It is located in the activity folder. If you click on this link, you should be able to get the permission slip for the family interview. We'll take a look at it. And so you need to get this filled out by the family member, and this needs to be submitted along with your final. Now there's two parts of this, well, there's actually three parts of this final. The first is your interview. And so it gives you a list of questions here. And once again, I just want to remind you, you need to get this in on time. There's a lot to be done in this. You don't want to lose 5 points for being late. And so it needs to get in on Sunday at 10 o'clock. Now, the interview questions are here. You need to do all of the interview questions. I don't want yes or no questions. We really need to get them to elaborate. You need to get into a conversation with them. One way that you can do this is you can use Zoom, which is how I'm talking to you right now. It's a free service. If you go to Zoom, you will be able to record your meeting, and then you can slowly go over it and write down the answers. You can paraphrase your answers. You can use your phone recording. But I would really suggest that recording is the best way to work. So these are the following questions that you must use. That doesn't mean it's the only questions that you use. You can use additional questions. You can really get into a lot more depth about these. What you're really trying to do is you're trying to find out about their involvement in the process. You want to discuss how it felt. You really want to get a sense of what this is like for a family. So you're going to be, step one is format of the family interview with a child or youth with disabilities. You can do an older child, but I really suggest, this is for early childhood. So I really think that you should try to get a child at the oldest in second grade. But if you have to do older, you do. Okay, so next is, so I want you to write that up, and you want to get a family report that synthesizes the information that you obtain. You're going to need to be it should be 5 pages, and we want to know so the first part is you want to get that family interview. The family interview needs to be written up, and then you want to do a family report. We want to know family characteristics, family interaction, family functions, and recommendations. And so this is going to be synthesized. This is going to be a paper that we're going to find out a lot about that family. So first the interview, then the family report. Now step number 3 is you're going to actually be writing an IFSP for the family. Now this is very modified because really we're just trying to answer questions that you can do. So if you're looking at an IFSP, you're going to see there's a lot involved in it. There's going to be a lot of things about meeting with parents. There's going to be things about family service providers. You're not going to be able to do that because this isn't real. This is something that you're creating. So let's take a look. This is the modified sheet. It should link you over to a document. As always, if you have any problems with the document, please let me know. So once again, like the midterm, this is going to be something that you're going to fill out. It has specific questions on it. So the first is going to be the summary of the child's present performance, strengths, areas of concern, development, academic achievement. So these are things that you'll probably really get from talking to the parent. And you're going to synthesize this into the summary of the child's present performance. We want to see what you know. Family information. You've also deduced that from the interview that you had and from step number 2, but you're going to be filling this in as you would in a sheet, a summary of the family information, such as Mrs. Jones is a single parent. She lives in low income housing. She works a certain number of hours, so she has to have her mother care for the child. These are important things. So we really want to know family information. This is list of assistance to the family, helping them with the community, medical, or non-funded services. So that would be the grandmother coming in. It could be a translator, a family friend who translates. So this is just a list. Now, this is a checklist. We have special considerations. And the reason that we have this checklist is it's part of the IFSP, but also because we want to make sure that you know that if a child is blind or visually impaired, that that is something that must be related to your ongoing steps. And same with all these disabilities, it will tell you how it needs to be included in the plan. Now, we've got the measurable results and the outcome and the goals. So we want to know what is the goals, and that should be listed to 4. What is happening now in terms of the goals? So if you say that the goal would be a child raises his hand, what's happening now? Child shouts out during group time. What teaching strategies are needed to reach the goal? It might be something like having partnering with a child who can model proper behavior during group time. And so it also would be something where the modifications at home, which might be taking turns when the family is eating, speaking, and not speaking over each other. As a team, how will we know whether or not this has been achieved? It might be something like, I will observe 4 group times, and during those times, I will see if Janie raises her hands when it comes time to answer the question. So this is very basic. It's cut out quite a bit of what you would normally be filling out. This is not an IEP, it is an IFSP. It's an individual family service plan. It can be based upon the IEP, but you probably won't get to see it. You don't need to ask about it. You're getting this information based on your interview. So going back to the interview, we want to make sure, so just step number 1, family interview, with the notes that were involved, with the questions that were involved. Step number 2, synthesizing information, family characteristics, interaction, functions, recommendations. And the last is the individualized family service plan. Take a look at the rubric. It's important because it's going to give you a sense of what needs to happen. When I'm grading this paper, the things that I'm going to look for is I'm going to almost have a checklist where I'm going to make sure that you have answered each one of the questions listed, that you have followed the instructions for step 1, step 2, and step 3. So please make sure that all of those are included. If they are not, you will not get full credit. I want you to get full credit, and I want you to do well, because I really want you to be able to help families as they go through these processes. And I think this is a really good way to start to get a sense of what happens with a child who needs help and the family who needs assistance. And you will work as an advocate for these children in your classroom. So the last step will be the presentation of information, and you can find that in next week's session folder. And have fun, good luck, and please, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Thank you.